can please have Ms. Skylar McFarland go to the podium, and you have 5 minutes to discuss your topic. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, and I would just like to start by expressing my appreciation to the chair and all members of this committee for the opportunity to speak to this issue today. My name is Skylar McFarland. I'm a leader at the East of Adelaide chapter of London Acorn, a tenant union with over 3,000 members across the city, and I'm here today to speak in support of requiring that residential rental unit licensing is publicly displayed, and additionally that it includes the permitted occupancy of each building alongside already existing requirements. Furthermore, I hope I can adequately address many of the concerns that were raised by staff in their report to this committee. Simply put, requiring that the information provided within residential rental unit licenses is accessible to the public is one of the easiest and most effective measures that we can take to ensure maximum transparency, accountability, and safety for tenants, both prospective and current, while protecting landlords' reasonable expectations of personal privacy. Moreover, this is a measure that we can take without placing an undue burden on property owners, the city, or taxpayers. This won't create more bureaucracy, there's no new fee, and there's no new inspections. This is nothing more than the logical continuation of the residential rental unit licensing program originally introduced in 2013 to further tenant protections and ensure greater transparency. And in that sense, it's everything. It's everything for the students and newcomers who will be able to easily confirm whether the unit they intend to rent is up to standard without having to navigate unfamiliar systems. It's everything for the first responders in case of an emergency, being able to quickly check how many people occupy a building so that they know how many people to evacuate when every second counts most. From restaurants to childcare facilities and contractors, we already have a similar framework in place across a wide variety of industries that service the public, and in which safety is of the utmost importance. Housing is no less one of these vital matters of the public interest, and it must be subjected to these same standards of accountability to guarantee safety within our control. Finally, one of the primary concerns highlighted by staff in this report was that by having this information publicly available, we could inadvertently encourage members of the public to take enforcement of city bylaws upon themselves, which could present a serious liability for the city. Instead, it suggested that any concerns be directed towards bylaw enforcement. But as bylaw enforcement continues to face an extensive backlog, this could risk wasting resources that could be needed elsewhere. In my personal experience working with tenants, often concerns do not need to get to that point. Many times, it's as simple as bringing an issue to the attention of the landlord. In some cases, where the landlord is particularly non-compliant, it requires a level of sustained pressure from tenants within the building, but often never escalates to involving bylaw enforcement, nor does it amount to tenants or others attempting to enforce the laws themselves. Ensuring that the landlord's contact information is readily accessible makes it easier to resolve any issues, to be a good neighbor, if you will, through this line of communication, as opposed to further escalation. And if it has come to that point, to hold them accountable through legal means such as bylaw enforcement or even the landlord and tenant board should they remain non-compliant. Not only that, but I would argue that limiting the display of the information to the confines of a residential rental unit presents a greater liability to the city, as it risks encouraging the public to enter the unit to gain access to this information. In conclusion, if you're a landlord in the city and you follow the rules already set out by this body, you should have absolutely no reason to be concerned should council choose to implement public residential rental unit licenses. In fact, this rewards good landlords through recognition for their compliance and singles out bad ones for their refusal to meet these standards, essentially working to enforce itself through the market. This is the easiest, most cost-effective, and comprehensive measure at our disposal to ensure a more just rental market for all. And with that, I urge members of this committee and later council as a whole to vote in favor of affirming and strengthening tenants' rights by requiring the public display of residential rental unit licenses and ensuring that they include permitted occupancy in that display. Thank you once again for your time and consideration.